addition to possibly forming a utility authority and a stormwater authority, what else do you see the council addressing in the coming year? What issues are important for the council? In the context of the budget, the budgeting process that's concluding right now, some decisions were made to cut money here and to not cut money there. You didn't, as you said, you didn't win on every point. What would you maybe revisit next year?
Well, there's one that we did revisit, and that was resuming normal lifeguards at Humiston Park, which is, in the top 10 beaches in the United States in one publication at least. Family beaches, that is. And we did resume that, and there were 3 of us that voted for that, 2 that voted against. And it made no sense to me to start lifeguards an hour later where the children are and cut it off 2 hours earlier, because that was something we did in the height of the economic panic in this country, to continue that. So we did fix that. I've addressed the baffle boxes. I mean, I think you have to accomplish them. The other one is the streets here. This year we're only putting $200,000 into the streets. We know that it takes $600,000 a year to keep the streets up. So this year we're living on borrowed time. More than that, the number may not be correct, but it was somewhere between $260,000 and $70,000 we have coming into the budget, which is a bit of a windfall this year. So the budget, first of all, went up a bit because the property value is going up. But this money is coming from liquidation of our self-insurance trust fund, because what we decided was we shouldn't really be running entities like that with our history. And so we are paying for insurance outside. And so we have for 5 years, I think 5 years is correct, we have a return of money we're never going to have to spend. So that padded the budget also. So I think you have to be concerned with capital improvements into the future, namely the streets. A lot of our buildings are fundamentally very old. As an example, River House is an example, but the one that worried me the most is Leisure Square, which is important. It's important to provide that kind of service to the people that use it, that need it, that can't, that it's economically viable for. So I think the city has got a capital improvement needs. Another one we would like to address is the sale of the old Dodger Town golf course. First of all, we owe money on it. It's eating up $600,000 of cash every year in the form of having to make a debt payment on something we can't possibly use. We need to get out from underneath that. We've asked the county to help us. We've asked the county to help us on a number of items, but we've asked the county to help us. They've indicated that they might, but they want this, they want that, which is kind of the story. We've asked them for help on the lagoon. We want to use their code enforcement officer, who's a specialist in fertilizer and runoff. And even though we're already paying for it because we're county taxpayers, it's been many months and we can't get a response, and we've offered to pay additional money.
To have that person work within the city?
Yeah, work within the city, yes. I mean, what's the good of having regulations you can't enforce?
So the county's code enforcement officer on the fertilizer ordinance does not work within the city?
Yeah, I mean, it's like the beach sand. I mean, the county takes the money from the tourist tax, which 57% comes from the city, and all the sand goes actually north of the city at this point in time, and has for several years. So, there are issues there, and we're county taxpayers, and we should get the same treatment. And when they initially thought about that job, the job was going to be for Sebastian and Fellsmere and Vero Beach and the unincorporated county, but then they changed it so it's only unincorporated county. One wonders how that works, because our taxes are paying for it, but there you go.
You mentioned wanting their help in terms of getting out from underneath the Dodgertown property. Do you mean financial help or just an agreement to...
Yeah, all we need is them to remove some deed restrictions so we can do what we need to do.
Mm-hmm. And they haven't yet acknowledged.
It becomes a little bit like what's going on in the Ukraine. You know, the other side, and I'm a supporter of the Ukraine, and I'm a supporter of Israel, and so on. No secret. And it's the other side keeps throwing up flack and wanting this and wanting that, which they're not entitled to, in my opinion. I don't think they're entitled.
Why is there, it seems to me there's this uncooperativeness between the city and the county. Never mind the Public Service Commission complaint that the county has filed. But set that aside, but these other issues where there's this lack of cooperation, what is that about?
Well, first of all, it's in Florida law. Under Florida law, the county is really a subunit of the state. That's legally what it is. And in Florida, for a number of years, I won't quote the year, I think I know it, but I won't quote it, we have something called home rule. And home rule entitles a place like Vero Beach to say, look, we want under 2-minute reaction time from the police, not 17-minute reaction time. Or we want tighter zoning codes, or we don't want children buying flavored cigarettes in convenience stores over the counter. And it allows us to do that. And I think the number is 402 or 3 home rule units in the state of Florida in the 67 counties. And these home rule units, like Sebastian, Fellsmere, Vero Beach, and so on, have the right to have better services, set their own taxes, and form their own governments. And I will tell you, sitting on the Florida League of Cities committees and commissions, which I do, that it's not unique to Indian River County. There's a built-in adversarial relationship between our home rule communities and their respective counties. It's not just here. So I think you have to look at it in that framework, but it comes down to money. Look, Vero Beach is the center of this place. It's what makes Indian River County what it is. I mean, there are 3 wonderful things here: the Atlantic Ocean, the lagoon, and the city of Vero Beach. And I'm not minimizing Sebastian or Fellsmere, who I think are both doing a wonderful job. But it comes down to money. This is a very wealthy community. This is a very informed community, and it comes down to money. In other words, Vero Beach is wealthy. I mean, we have $120 million net value invested in our electric utility, and something that's worth $200 million. We have a very advanced water and sewer department. We have an airport. We have a marina. I mean, this is a very, very wealthy community. And it's the push me, pull you. You know, you see it in Washington and you see it in Tallahassee. That's the fundamental problem. But I think I would like to see a lot of that go away, because we are county taxpayers, and the county seat is in Vero Beach. And I think that's one of the reasons I'd like to see electric utility authority, because it gets rid of a point of contention. We don't need a point of contention. And people have said to me, well, look, you know, your services are used 60 or 80% by county people. You know, our parks, Hummiston Park, you name it, Con Beach, are used majority by county people. And I say, great, have them come. Our stores, our fine restaurants, our hotels, all the things we have are majority used by county people. And I say, great, we're glad to have their business. We're open for business here. We changed our drinking hours. We are allowing drinks to be served in front of the good hotels on the beach. It's good for business. And the reality is Vero Beach couldn't afford to be the wonderful place it is without this money coming in. I mean, look at it this way. Could we really afford the museum without our neighbors to the north and Indian River Shores? And the answer is no, we couldn't.
Or the theater.
Or the theater.
Right.
So, you know, but I think we all need to grow up and understand our place in the world. And this is a community, a tight-knit community, that has people from the mainland and the beach, and we feel exactly the same. And we want our town, and we want it to be special, and we want the things we want. We want the best in police protection, and by golly, we're going to have them.
Mm-hmm. Looking toward, just as a wrap-up, if I may, looking toward the election this fall, there's a minister who says, I don't tell my people how to vote, I just tell them how I'm going to vote. I'm not going to ask you how you're going to vote, but what are the important considerations to you in this coming election?
Well, what I ran for and have been running for and served for, and the reason at the end of my long career, you know, I was in the Army 2 years in the beginning, I've served to serve something, an idea, and the idea is keep our Vero Vero. In other words, keep some of the nuances and flavor of old Florida. Have it small town America. Have it a complete community. And a complete community means we have all factors of the community. You know, we serve the homeless. We have people that aren't so well off. We have wealthy people. But to keep it, my family came here in 1971, and Vero Beach has actually improved a lot since then. I mean, the museum has been built. There's so many. The Royal Palm Point has been done. So many things have been done. And as you told me once, without development, we'd all live in tents. So development isn't bad, but the development has to look and act and fit the spirit of the community. So what I'm here to do is serve the spirit of the community. And quite frankly, there are those that are running to serve themselves for one cause or another, or they're serving some ideological cause like small government or something. You know, limited government is good, but if the public wants it, small isn't good. I mean, we've gone from 526 employees next year to 396, and we've kept the services up. But you know what was attempted was to get rid of services like 911 and go to 17-minute reaction time, and I can't be for that. So there's one candidate that has an ideological view of the world. There are a couple more that are there to serve themselves. I think there's some very good candidates that if you listen to them carefully, they're here to do what the public wants and keep this place special. And I think the public's going to have to listen for that, but I think it's fairly obvious. What scares me is that people need to pay attention. Look, people, if you want this special place to be the special place it is, we need your involvement, we need your concern, and we need you to listen and pick the right candidates. We really do. And we need you to serve on the commissions. We need you to come to the city council meetings. You don't have to agree with us. We want to hear what you have to say. This is your community. That's why we have home rule.
I don't know of anyone who gives more thought and energy to preserving Vero Beach as a special place. I thank you for your service to the community, and I thank you for your time this morning, Mayor Winger.
My pleasure as always, Mark.
Thank you.